Hello everyone. Today I will explain the Chapter 6, the interrupt system of the T5L chip. The interrupt system of our chip is exactly the same as that of the traditional single-chip microcomputer, except that several peripheral terminals are added. So our internal contains a lot of interrupt sources. Let's take a look at the total of 12 interrupt sources on the C51 core of T5L. These 12 interrupt sources are shown in the following table. The interrupt of serial port 3 includes sending and receiving. The right side is the corresponding interrupt number, which will be used when we write the interrupt program in our code. Then the SFR special function registers related to these interrupt resources are also listed for you. And these contents can be found in the official document of DWIN, named it Development Guide of T5L ASC. The related registers are also very simple. First, there are 3 interrupt enable controllers, of which IEN3 is fixed to write 0 and doesn't need to be modified. The 7th bit in IEN0 is called the EA total interrupt control bit, and the 0 bit is called the external interrupt 0 enable bit. If you want to use, write 1 to enable it. The 2 registers, IP0 and IP1, are used to set the priority of the interrupt source. Let's talk about the priority of interrupt sources in detail. There are 12 interrupt sources in our T5L chip. These 12 interrupt sources are divided into 6 groups, which is equivalent to 2 interrupts in each group. The priority of the interrupt source within the group is fixed and cannot be set. But the priority between each group can be set through the IP0 and IP1 registers. How to set it? The priority between groups is set with 2 bits. IP0 and IP1 each occupies 1. There are 2 interrupt sources in each group. The right side is the 2 interrupt sources. The priority of each group is represented by 2 bits, and the IP0 and IP1 registers each occupies 1 bit. For example, for group 2, the priority must be represented by the 2nd bit in IP0 and the 2nd bit in IP1. Then there are 4 possibilities. That is to say, there are a total of 4 levels of interrupt priority, which are represented by 0 to 3. The larger the value, the higher the priority corresponding to the group. High priority interrupt sources can interrupt low priority interrupt sources and can be listed up to 4 levels. Why can only 4 levels can nested? Because the level of interrupt priority is only 4. When the interrupt priorities between the interrupt sources are the same, then the G0 group has the highest priority and the G5 group has the lowest priority for processing, as shown below. Next, let's go to the routine design. This routine will demonstrate the interrupt system of T5L by using external interrupt 0. Next comes to the GUI design. First, we create a new code folder under the desktop. Create C51 and GUI folders under the code folder. Then open the latest software. Click New. Select Resolution and a file path. Create a new folder under the GUI folder, named it Template. Here we need to add a background image. Because drawing the background image is relatively simple, so I have drawn it in advance. Then back to the software. Add the background image. Then we need to create a ICL. Click DWIN ICL generator. Select background image. Click Generate ICL. Save it in the DWIN set folder and name it 32. Then add the data variable display control, just like shown in the document. Then set the corresponding parameters. Click Save and Generate. Next, we need to download the DWIN set folder to the screen through the SD card. Copy the DWIN set folder to the SD card. Insert the SD card. Power it on. When end is displayed, power off and unplug the SD card. You can see the picture is displayed. Next, let's start to coding. We can write through the code in Chapter 1. Here, I have written it in advance and you can use it directly. Open the software. Click Compile. The error shows no errors and no warnings. Then download the code through Download for A051. Select Serial Port and select the correct file. Here you can see that we have an external button. After downloading the code, press the button and the number will increase. So here, the explanation of Chapter 6 is end. Thank you for watching.